Hello, welcome back to the second part of my Indy broadcast this morning from Indycar about the subject of fracking. Now, the first part of the programme I was trying to explain why I feel that the Scottish Government changed its position from a fracking moratorium last year to a fracking ban. And now that Ineos has taken the bait and is now appealing against that fracking ban, I was trying to explain to you why this strategically will make a difference to the next independence battle, because now it will not only be about gaining independence and extracting ourselves from the chaos of a bad Brexit, but also we will get to protect ourselves from fracking. Now, the fact is that the risk of fracking now exists again. The ban is no longer going to hold. The Labour Party, remember, pushed and pushed and pushed for the moratorium to be turned into a ban because they knew that a ban could be overcome by the British Supreme Court. And because they knew that it would make it difficult for the SNP. But by timing the lifting of the moratorium and the converting of it into a ban just before 2018, the Scottish Government has now turned fracking into another weapon in the armoury for independence. However, there is one other thing in this mix, this battle for control of things like oil and shale gas, and that is a strategic move that Ineos made last year to buy the entire Forties oil pipeline. This is the major artery from all of the North Sea, bringing the oil ashore to Grangemouth for refining. Now, why would an English registered company with a 40% shareholding by a Swiss parent company which doesn't pay taxes in the UK, why would a British company effectively registered in London want to buy the only big Scottish oil pipeline into Grangemouth? Why would they do that? Well, they're doing that for a simple reason. That is, when independence is finally voted for and declared, control of the North Sea oil, the flow of it into Scotland, will be controlled by a London registered company, not Scottish Government. And Ineos and Mr. Ratcliffe, who runs it, and all of its shareholders will be sitting on a little gold mine that they will be able to name a price and sell back to Scotland in the event of independence. So there are strategic moves being made by both sides here. It's all about money. It's nothing to do, from Ineos' point of view, it's nothing to do with politics. They will just exploit whatever the politics are. So in Ineos' case, what will happen is if there's no independence, they still get to control the oil pipeline and they will get to frack beneath the Scottish countryside because they know that the English government and the British state will overrule any Scottish ban that's been made. The Scottish Government's point is that they have now made it a risk. They have now allowed it to become a major risk to every householder in the Central Belt. And everybody who is afraid of their house losing its value, of not being able to insure it. And not only that, I mean, if you just take aside the point of the value of your house dropping and not being able to sell it, and in fact people not wanting to buy houses in those areas, the property market in central Scotland would be wrecked by fracking. And there must be an awful lot of people in the housing industry, in the building industry, in the estate agency businesses as well, who'd be terrified if fracking started happening in the Scottish Central Belt. This is where most of the higher earning and middle class people commute into and out of Glasgow and Edinburgh every day. They live there. So a lot of big moves are being made both by the Scottish Government and by Ineos as a company which is trying desperately to suck whatever profit it can out of whatever the situation is after or before Brexit. So we can see a lot of games being played here on a big scale. But the point that I'm trying to make to us, to everybody in the independence movement, and also to Scottish people in general, is that we're going to be the pawns in this game. And unless we actually vote to protect ourselves and protect our country, our homes, the value of our houses, the ability to insure our homes against subsidence, All of that, unless we actually vote to separate from the British state, all of that is a risk. We will end up with the housing market bust. We will see house prices crash. We'll have negative equity in the central belt. There will be poisonous water. There will be gas coming out of your water taps. Your countryside will be ruined. The whisky industry will be damaged. Farming industry will be damaged. Everything will be damaged, all to line the pockets of one or two Tories who have shares or directorships in fracking firms. So have a think about that, and when you're out there talking to people about why they should consider changing their vote from a no to a yes when this next referendum happens, because we know it's going to happen before 2019, they will get a choice, not only about Brexit, but about fracking as well. It's no longer just about Brexit, it's about the price of your home, it's about whether you can sell it, it's about whether you can insure it, it's about the safety of your drinking water, it's about the safety and security of your food supply, it's about the whisky industry, it's about everything that happens in the countryside being trashed, poisoned by toxic chemicals and by gas escaping into the environment. So it's a difficult situation to kind of pull together, but the basic message I'm trying to get over to you today is that this is another big wake-up call for Scots voters, that if you don't vote for independence in the next referendum, you will be fracked. And it's a simple fact that you will be fracked because the British government wants you to be fracked. They want to make money out of the shale gas beneath your homes. And they don't care whether your houses plummet in value or fall into a sinkhole as a result. They do not give a toss about that. It's all about the money in the Tories' pockets. That's the message I would take from today's happenings. This story will keep running all the way through the rest of this year. You will find that Ineos goes to higher and higher courts trying to get the ban lifted until they reach the High Court or the Supreme Court in London, and then there will be this overwhelming ruling that says, yes, you can frack in Scotland. We're going to overrule it. And at that point, all bets are off. So, let's get out there and tell people about this. Fracking is now another danger. It's not about Brexit anymore, not alone anyway. It's about continued austerity, Brexit disaster, and now you're going to be fracked as well. How much worse does it have to get before you will say yes to independence? Bye now.